Good morning mga katribu and welcome to another show of the Weekly Business Sense. I am Komfie Manalo. A recent study states that the Philippines is currently ranked as the seventh best performing country worldwide when it comes to esport earnings. The Philippines has a total of 43 million gamers. It is projected to have a growth rate of 14.3% between 2020 and 2023. Teams in the esport industry like Tier 1, Next Play, and Team Secret are helping to make our country known worldwide. Game influencers and content creators are a new breed of celebrity born from the growth of internet gaming. People like Chooks TV, Aludia Gosingfiao, Dexy Diaz, Moy Moy Palabok, and Megan Young have attracted large audiences on sites like Twitch and YouTube, becoming household name. And to put the country in the gaming map next week, Yield Games, YGG or Guild Games will sponsor the country's first gaming Web3 gaming summit. And to tell us more about this gaming summit and how the country has evolved in the gaming community globally is Miss Mench Dizon, the country head of the YGG Pilipinas. Good morning, Miss Mench Dizon.
Good morning, Komfie. Thank you for having me here at Daily Tribune's Business Sense.
And thank you very much for gracing our show today. And thank you very much for taking time. So, Miss Mensch, can you tell us about this week-long event to happen next week, the Web3 Gaming Summit that YGG is sponsoring? Tell us what will happen, the hackathon, the two-day conference, the three-day expo tournament, and the whole caboodle, everything about the Web3 Summit, Web3
Yeah,
Gaming
we're so
Summit. Sorry.
excited. We're
Mm-hmm.
so excited. It's just a week from now, no?
Mm-hmm.
And we've spent months preparing for this big event. And we're
Mm-hmm.
excited because it's not just a Philippine event, no? So we're gearing up to become the biggest Web3 game summit in the region. And Yield Guild Games is a new brand, no? Despite being in existence for just a little over 2 years, but we're now considered as a global brand, very much respected in the Web3 and the Web3 game space. So next week, as I mentioned, is an exciting week. No, it starts off with our Web3 game jam. So the game jam
Mm-hmm.
is a hackathon. It's participated by both online and offline developers coming from all over the world. So perhaps we're expecting between 500 to 600 developers trying their craft, no, in and layering their games with Web3. So that's happening in Manila on November 7th. 18 and 19. We actually just finished our pre-jam. We provided some work sessions for these developers over the weekend, and that was quite successful as well. And then we move on to November 21 and 22. So this is the conference proper. It's a B2B conference and participated by games from all over the world, by investors, angel investors, VCs, game platforms, founders from all over the world, Web3 projects. A very exciting mix, no, of
Mm-hmm.
industry professionals. Think about it as like a game developers conference that happens yearly in San Francisco. This is our version of it,
Mm-hmm.
focused primarily on Web3 games. And then, as we want to always give back to our community, we're holding a big Games Expo on November 23 to 25. At the Games Expo, we are featuring some of the most exciting Web3 games. No, we have booths for our players, we have booths for our community, we have tournaments, we have community show matches. So it's a 3 day long expo focused primarily on the fun games that the committee can play. And we're so excited because some of the games that we're featuring this week, it's the first, no, for our community to see these wonderful games.
So, isa-isa natin, ang dami-dami
Oo
mangyayari
nga
about,
eh.
yeah, and meron tayong Jam Hackathon, the first 2 days, I think, and if I'm not mistaken, then there's the gaming expo, the gaming conference, kasama-sama yung game developers, VCs, and then there's the gaming expo to showcase the different games. So, how is this important? How are all these events important to the Philippines in terms of the development of the local gaming sector, and in terms of inviting or encouraging investors to not only invest in the Philippines, but also to further develop the local gaming titles. Like of course we have a few, and then for the gamers naman, yung gaming summit na yung gaming expo from the 23rd to the 25th. So how are all these events exciting or critical to the development of the whole Philippine gaming community or gaming scene?
Yeah, of course, on the developer side, no, we would like to spur more creators,
Mm-hmm.
more programmers, more game professionals to look
Mm-hmm.
into Web3. It's an exciting space because things are new, no? So it's an opportunity for developers to really carve out their own niche, to carve out their own path, no, in this new nascent Web3 technology. So we'd like to encourage developers to see, no, whether there is an opportunity for them to get started and then eventually, no, to thrive in this space. And we want them to meet developers from all over the world as well. It is this unique exchange of ideas, of insights that really breeds so much creativity and energy in the space. So that's on the developer side. We're very excited there because we'd like to see the younger ones, no, also consider this as a possible career path, and those would like to shift careers as a possible path for them as well. On the second part, no, of the event, these are primarily for the industry practitioners, the game developers, the founders, the investors. So it's a good opportunity to have that unique exchange and interaction between these different industry players. And similar to the developers, it's really just the interaction, this unique networking, the opportunities to talk about what each one is doing and to listen on how some of the most talented entrepreneurs, no, are carving their niche and really shaping their careers as well as their businesses around Web3. So it's really a coming together of global and local, and how our local talents can also showcase to a global investors audience as much as the global guys can learn from us, because the Philippines remains to be a strong model for Web3 adoption. Actually, the world is looking at how was it possible for this tiny country, no, this
Mm-hmm.
emerging market in Southeast Asia, to really be a driving force in Web3. And then on the third component, this is for the games, the Gaming Expo. It really is an opportunity for the games, no, to be featured to an audience that's very energetic and very welcoming. And for our gamers, they're waiting, no, for the
Mm-hmm.
longest time to really focus their energy, their time, and their resources on games that are fun, on games that are also very much, no, helpful in terms of just how they can thrive in Web3. So those are the different ways, no, that we're providing some impact in terms of the Philippine economy, the Philippine market, the Philippine gamer community, by providing this event this coming week.
Well, the Philippines is considered a powerhouse pagdating sa gaming. Our gamers are, we are ranked 7th in terms of earnings. So there is a big market, or there's really actually a career for gamers in the Philippines. But you also mentioned that the Philippines is a model in terms of Web3 games. In what area, and how is that? How did that happen? That Web3 games is they're new, and not just here but globally. So how did that happen that the Philippines is already becoming a model in Web3 gaming?
Yeah, I guess during the pandemic, there was this huge interesting phenomenon that happened. No, in the past, whenever we talk about blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
we always thought that the way to just get it across the world is through financial inclusion. So we had a surge of fintech companies, financial related, remittance related businesses. But it was during the pandemic that this phenomenon of adoption, unique adoption via games, was very evident. And
Mhm.
it was quite a surprise, no? Because blockchain technology is a very difficult, or at least very technical. So a common tao, someone who doesn't really know much about technology except their mobile phones, it will really be hard to understand. But surprisingly, during the pandemic, it was because of course, this the game Axie Infinity that got people to be interested in this space beyond the technology, no? And it was really looking at it from how they could participate in this new economy from where they are, because we were stuck at home. And people were always thinking of how can we do something even as we are in our homes and challenge in terms of economic capability. So I guess that was surprising that a game no would
Mhm.
spur adoption for blockchain, and it has always boggled people from all over the world. How the hell do we move the needle for blockchain and Web3 adoption? So this became one interesting, surprising model. And because the Philippines is very young in terms of its population, highly connected, a very enthusiastic social being, then this type no, of interaction in the Web3 social community space was very much fitting
Mhm.
for this unique makeup no, of the Filipino.
So, although the Philippine gaming community, pwede natin sabihin, because of our young population, the gaming community in the Philippines has matured faster than the rest of the world. And sabi mo nga, no, during the pandemic, surprisingly, because most of the Filipinos were, or most of our young population are at home doing not practically nothing because classes were suspended even during the first 2 months, and there's no mall, so they don't have any outlet to spend their energy, so they spend their time on the internet, and they learned the Filipino people, the Filipino young gamers learned Web3 faster than the rest of the other counterparts in the other countries. So, can we distinguish between Web2 games, Web2 based games, and Web3 based games, and why are Web3 games more exciting than Web2 based games? And can you cite cite some of the Web3 game titles that we can play right now, and then we can that allows these gamers to earn money.
Yeah, the main difference between a Web2 game and a Web3 game is that the assets, no, the things that you work for in a game, is really the gamer's own. And this means that even as the game folds, even as the game doesn't continue, the assets within the game continues to be a property no, owned by the gamer himself. And
Mm-hmm.
so he can go out into the world and exchange this no, with others who are also playing the game or who also might be interested in owning assets from the game and exchange it for economic
Mm-hmm.
for money no that they could use to really help them in terms of just make ends meet. So that's the primary difference. It's assets within the game that's owned
Mm-hmm.
by the gamers themselves, and it's not owned by the game. And because these assets, these game items are owned by the gamers themselves, then they are incentivized to really do better and 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 really level up no, in the games as they become more invested as owners of these assets within the games.
Mm-hmm. And can you also enlighten us na the Philippines, of course, no, is a powerhouse pagdating sa gamers, pagdating sa paglalaro. But when it comes to development or developing game titles, medyo kulang tayo yan eh. So, how can this Web3 Game Summit encourage or improve our situation in that area, yung development ng mga game titles? But before you answer that, we will take a short break to allow our sponsors to tell our clients or tell their clients to patronize their products. So, we'll take a short break.
This break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the traffic. Buy it center. Hashtag bigger, better, younger buy it, and you can buy it all. Conti's Bake Shop and Restaurant, delightfully yours. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you. A wellness show dedicated to empowering viewers with the knowledge and inspiration needed to lead a healthy lifestyle. Be Well Now, hosted by Miss Cory Crino, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. only here at Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Alamin ang pinakamaiinit na balita at mahalagang issue na bumabalot ngayon sa ating bansa. Ating pag-usapan, blow by blow, dito lang sa Hot Patatas, kasama sila Chicky Mangkukang, Vernon Velasco at Gio Leaño. Yung Lunes, Miyerkules at Biyernes, alas 3 ng hapon, dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Conversations that are masterclasses from the top honchos of various industries. Learn from their strategies and insights so you yourself can unlock your full potential. Perfect every Friday at 2 p.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. Creative minds, entertainment icons, style influencers. We shine the spotlight on remarkable individuals who shape our cultural landscape. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. only here in Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Parayan at talakayang showbiz, times 2, doble-doble! Kasama ang dalawa sa walang kupas na talakayan ng showbiz, Alwin Ignacio at Alex Brosas. DTT Show, tuwing Sabado at Linggo, alas 4 ng hapon, dito lang sa Diaryo Tirada ng Daily Tribune.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
And we're back, and you're still watching Business Sense. And still with us is Miss Mench Dizon, the country head of YGG Philippines. Kanina, before we took a break, Miss Mench described the distinction between Web 2-based games and Web 3 games, Web 3-based games. And one of the reasons why Web 3-based games are popular in the Philippines is because players get to collect assets, and these assets can be monetized. Like yung, di ba, if I remember correctly, there was one viral story about a student from Nueva Ecija, a son of a farmer, who was able to build a house for his family because of his earnings from Web3 based games. And many Filipinos are doing the same now. They're earning money and they establish a career. In fact, there are even companies in the Philippines who invest in gamers. In fact, I visited one of their offices in Tier 1. I visited one of their office in Makati. And they have a pool of very talented gamers that they send abroad to compete. And then these gamers, they make good money. And of course, no, if they won't be doing if these companies have invested in them, it must be worth investing. So these people are charitable institutions. They invest because they want to make money then. So kanina, before we took a break then, we left a hanging question to Ms. Mench Dizon regarding in terms of gaming or the gamers, the Philippines is a powerhouse there. We're recognized as one of the region that has to be watched when there are gaming competition. But in terms of development of games, the Philippines is lagging behind. So we asked Ms. Mench Dizon, how can events like this, the YGG Web3 Gaming Summit next week, will help our developers get investment, so they'll be developing more titles coming from the Philippines. So hindi lang tayo ngayon tagabili ng mga game titles, kundi nag-export na rin tayo ng games abroad. So Miss Mench, how your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Siguro I'll start off with the developers, no? Because that's the first the question, no? And as I mentioned, we really want more activity in the game development to also come from our shores. And the hackathon the interaction of developers from all over the world, because it has both online and offline, is something that will really help spur that interaction, no, across these different developers. And you know how developers are; they like to talk to people just like them. They're pretty much very much shy. But when they talk about the work that they do and they talk amongst their peers, then there is that energy and the enthusiasm that comes and out and radiates. No? So we really want to really harness that, and also get investors from all over the world take a look at the games that are being built. But at the same time, before that happens, actually, is provide mentorship to provide that linkage with games that are doing well, no, and see how they could really help these budding developers to become more effective as game professionals. So that's one part of just building the ecosystem. A large part also of the work that we do, and I think this is really the mission, no, of YGG, is how we could create a career out of playing games, no? If
Mm.
before, when people play games, people say, ah, wala kang mapapala sa kalalaro mo, 'di ba?
Mhm.
And there was always that stigma around playing games and wasting time. And it brought a lot of like turmoil, even in
Mhm.
families, no? But actually, it's an interesting possible career path. And it's not just playing games. There are a lot of opportunities in the Web3 space, depends on what people are interested in. So if you're a gamer, then yes, you can do well by moving from an amateur level perhaps to a more seasoned esports player. That's
Mhm.
one path. Another path is if you like to create content, no? You're a content creator, but you're also a gamer. So that's
Mhm.
another path as well. Some other paths would include like moderating communities, making sure that the community interaction within the Discord channels, within the community channels are well moderated. Another path is now that there are more games coming to market, game operations. How our kababayans can be part of game operations, providing their unique knowledge, no, in terms of playing the game at the same time doing customer support. So there's a lot of economic opportunities in Web3, and it's not just playing the games. So the reason why we want to constantly bring to market, no, these events, these community activations, is to show that there is a possible path, a sustainable economic path, not just from playing the games, but really having a unique contribution, no, in the games as a gamer, as a content creator, as a developer, as part of the game operation. So ang daming
Mhm.
pwedeng gawin, depende
Mhm.
sa interest ng tao, no, sa Web3. And this is what excites me the most. It's really providing this ecosystem with so much opportunities that they could take advantage of.
'Di ba, tama nga, dati 'di ba 'pag ano ka, gaming bum ka, you just 'di ba, kasi I used to play a lot, ano, I used to play game a lot, eh. Lalo yung mga, mid-90s hanggang early 2000, 'di ba, yung pero Web 2 based yun, eh. And I think the first Web 3 based game na pinasabihin yung Ragnarok, eh, 'di ba? You collect ano dun, yung mga weapons or or items dun. And then you monetize that by selling that items sa kapwa mo players. Pero ano yun, eh, transaction between players, hindi yung ngayon kasi Web3 based talagang you collect assets, eh, 'di ba? That can be monetized. And you also mentioned gaming management. 'Di ba ngayon, Web3 is also of course connect na, meron tayong Web3, andiyan na metaverse. And then sa metaverse, sa games that are in the metaverse, there are opportunities, marketing opportunities there na magkaroon ng mga ad placements, eh. Like while you're playing, say, halimbawa, Dota, or you're playing ano mga Web3 based games, say Axie Infinity. Pwedeng malagay ng Adidas doon na brand ano sa ano ecosystem ng na Axie, or pwede kang mag-create ng avatar mo na nakasuot ka ng mga branded suits, di ba? So, is that part of the direction na nakikita nyo ng Web3 based game integrating the metaverse technology?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the exciting things that we are working on, no? How we can create unique marketing opportunities for brands, for clients, for games within our community. What's interesting about this is maybe different from how Web2, no?
Mm-hmm.
As we know it, does their marketing. They
Mm.
usually, Web2 companies or startups or brands now, what they typically do is pay so much money, no, to
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, to Google, and have their ads placed on these different platforms. But what's interesting about Web3 is that you could actually activate the community. They are incentivized to help promote the brand, really having a very strong community centric marketing approach. No, this is something that we're testing and really trying to see, no, how we could share, no, the marketing money that used to go to just like a Facebook, a Google, a central body, to share it to the committee so they uniquely participate, no, in the marketing, and also incentivize, no, so they become they treat this, no, as a way for them to also take part in the economic opportunities in Web3. So
Yes,
kumbaga,
so katulad ka like,
hindi
imagine, no, power up, inom ka ng Coke, no, sa loob ng sa game. Ako naglalaro.
Yeah, and because the game assets have value to it, then you can have the players earn certain assets or certain game items that is parang part of their participation, kunyari, in a marketing campaign.
Yeah, yeah, pwede, di
Kunyari,
ba? Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. And it goes direct to them,
Yeah,
right?
or pwedeng brand
And
placement, di ba? Yung naalakara mo, merong billboard ng
yeah.
Pepsi.
And you don't have to be a top creator or a top blogger or influencer. Anyone who has their own respective community and followers, no, can take part in this in the Web3 space. So that's what I like about Web3. People get into it based on their interest from where they are. They don't need to travel far. They don't need to brave traffic
Mm-hmm.
to do something that can help them, no, alleviate their economic situation.
And I'm also interested sa kayo na yung is that gaming management? Is that possible for kasi ako sikat akong gamer. And then maraming mga new players. Kaya is it part of the direction na because I'm already good in this game that I can say launch a parang webinar or teach them to yung mechanic. Is that yung yung sa mong gaming management, is that part of that direction?
Yeah, definitely. No,
Mm.
that's part of it, and we see that already. We saw that happening and still happening. No, in this space where um, leaders rise up, no,
Mhm.
from the community, and because they are considered and respected as leaders in this field, then they can create content that's followed
Mm.
by their community members or even beyond. No, those who regularly follow them, and it becomes now a source of content for the brand of YTG, not and also, no, for the games. So these community managers actually become leaders who people look up to, and also who brands can work with in terms of just how they could help in terms of community activation, no, for their respective products. So part of our role actually, and direction for YGG is how do we create more of these managers, no? How do we recognize the talent that is available already in the community, and how to really help them, no, upskill them, provide them opportunities, provide a platform for them, no, so they can just do what the best that they can do, which is leading people.
So talaga ng mga gamers ngayon, no, there's a career in the gaming community. Unlike before na we just
Oo nga
play game,
eh.
we just waste our time, 'di ba? Playing all these games. Ganun talaga, ay umaga na pala. Ako hilig ko pa naman mga RTS, yung real-time strategy that you need
Yeah.
minimum of 6 hours to play a one game. So,
Mm.
one of the what you mentioned earlier that one of the objectives or the goals of this YGG Web3 Summit, Web3 Gaming Summit, is to bring in VCs or investors to the Philippines to look into the to our local developers. So, how many VCs or investors do you expect to attend the YGG Web3 Gaming Summit in the next week? And what gaming titles do you think have potentials of getting funded?
Mm, I think in the VCs we have a good mix, no? We have of course, the more established venture capitalists. We do have a lot, no, of angel investors. So it's really a good mix of investors, and that's the reason why I think the games, the Web3 games, were quite interested to come to Manila so that they could
Mm-hmm.
also be in front, no, of this very good selection of investors. And our investors are both local and global. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, the local ones perhaps are looking at what are the best titles out there. And it becomes now a chance for them to really get to know the founders and understand, no, how big of an addressable market uh, the Web3 game space is going to be. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so we're looking forward to those types of interactions.
Yeah, very interesting. And how did YGG started, and where did it start? How did it start? But before you answer that question, again, we will take a short break, and we will be right back.
This break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Conti's Bake Shop and Restaurant, delightfully yours. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you. A wellness show dedicated to empowering viewers with the knowledge and inspiration needed to lead a healthy lifestyle. Be Well Now, hosted by Miss Cory Crino, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. only here at Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Alamin ang pinakamaiinit na balita at mahalagang issue na bumabalot ngayon sa ating bansa. Ating pag-usapan, blow by blow, dito lang sa Hot Patatas, kasama sila Chicky Mangkukang, Vernon Velasco at Gio Leaño. Tuwing Lunes, Miyerkules at Biyernes, alas 3 ng hapon, dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Conversations that are masterclasses from the top honchos of various industries. Learn from their strategies and insights so you yourself can unlock your full potential. Perfect every Friday at 2 p.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. Creative minds, entertainment icons, style influencers. We shine the spotlight on remarkable individuals who shape our cultural landscape. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. only here in Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Parayan at talakayang showbiz, times 2, doble-doble! Kasama ang dalawa sa walang kupas na talakayan ng showbiz, Alwin Ignacio at Alex Brosas. DTT Show, tuwing Sabado at Linggo, alas 4 ng hapon, dito lang sa Diaryo Tirada ng Daily Tribune.
And we're back. You are still watching the weekly Business Sense, and still with us is Miss Mench Dizon of YGG. Before we took a break, Miss Mench discussed how these Web3 based games are providing a career to Filipino gamers. That actually hindi lang you can earn money not just playing the games, but there are other areas in the gaming community itself that provides you opportunities like gaming management or providing content. And how YGG or Guild Games is making all these things to happen. And then to give us more insight on that, the YGG is sponsoring a week-long summit or Web3 Gaming Summit next week. So, Miss Mench, can you tell us how did YGG started And where did it start?
Yeah, it started in our little bedroom in Pasig at the height of the pandemic. My
Mhm.
husband was spending countless hours playing this little game
Mhm.
called Axie Infinity. He was part of, like, I guess, the first few hundred
Mhm.
people playing the game. And then I remember he lent, no, these little Axies to people in the community, and then without knowing how or when they're gonna pay
Mm.
him back, he just really just set it to them, just wanting not to see how this game will flourish. And then he'd be surprised, no? A week later, he sees something in GCash, no? And then, oh, bumalik na yung pinahiram niya, right? And that was really an interesting start because it was started because of a unique curiosity and interest. And that's really how sometimes the most uh, fun and
Mhm.
the interesting paths of life,
Mhm.
no, come together. It's when you follow that curiosity. So he decided to look into it and see, no, how this little game, married with a strong community, can come together into something that is more sustainable and can even turn global. So we built YGG, as I mentioned, in I think uh, late late 2020, 2021.
Mhm.
And it's the first ever business that was invested in by Andreessen Horowitz. So I
Mhm.
think from Southeast Asia, if I'm not mistaken. So that one for us was, I think, a pivotal moment, no?
Mhm.
Because a very respected um, investor who have invested in some of the biggest global brands took notice, no, of
Mhm.
what we were building in Yield Guild Games.
Mhm.
So that was a pivotal moment because the world started to pay attention
Mhm.
to what we were building. And what was most important that came out of that is beyond also the way that we were building a community in a more sustained and professional manner, is that other entrepreneurs who are also quite talented saw, no, that there is an opportunity in this space, and that sort of built, no, this Web3 ecosystem in the Philippines, no, with entrepreneurs, with the community, with businesses rising up, and really, no, taking advantage of this huge momentum and wave in the Web3 space. So that's how we started. It started small, no, but I
Mhm.
guess it was the right time.
Mhm.
I really believe that some of the like a success, no, of a business is, of course, the founder, the large total addressable market. But the big part of a business success is really the right time. And I
Mhm.
think we were just there at the right
Right
time.
time.
I know the pandemic was very much a challenge for a lot of us, but it was also a signal, no, a start of an opportunity.
Okay. So, Miss mentioned YGG is the first Filipino-led startup to be founded by crypto, and how did this pave or allow for other Filipino entrepreneurs to grow in the Web3 environment?
I guess several factors, no? They saw that it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone just has to start. Someone
Mm-hmm.
just has to start and show, no, that we can, a global brand can rise out of the Philippines and really go beyond our shores, no, and how we can be respected and really go beyond, no, the confines of us just being an emerging market. So I guess that's one. And because there is that initial, I guess, movement to get started, no, in this space, then that provides some inspiration, perhaps, and maybe just some support, no, that it's possible. And at the same time, there is now that the unique exchange, no,
Mm-hmm.
of and you will notice that in the Web3 space, people are helpful, people are kind, People are always extending a helping hand, and I guess that is why the Web3 space is thriving
Mm-hmm.
and very much positive, no? Despite the market being a challenging one. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's because of that unique relationship, no, amongst the founders, amongst the different entrepreneurs. Plus, I guess it helps um, that the business is related to games. So there's always that fun component. There's always a function of play that is unique to this space.
And of course, you have to give yourself a pat on the back. I mean, uh, congratulating you could be a very an understatement. I mean, you started this in the bedroom during the pandemic, and now you're already a global brand. And then, in that so short period, you also have undertaken um, CSR or community relations in Cabanatuan, food drive in Typhoon Odette, fundraising, etc., etc. So, what's the and what should we expect from YGG moving forward? What more can we expect from YGG from after this YGG summit, a Web3 gaming summit, and then of course we expect you to continue your CSR initiatives in communities that are needing your help, and of course to provide opportunities for gamers, not just the urban-based players, but of course the uh, the underrepresented sector. In fact, yung nga yung pagkabanatuan, di ba, na yung Nueva Ecija player na yung na bata na he grew up from a farming family, and then he was able to provide house and a good lifestyle for his family just for playing. And YGG is now institutionalizing these opportunities. Hindi lang ngayon chamba. I mean, ngayon meron ka ng platform to really have that opportunity. So, your thoughts on that, Miss Mench?
Yeah, no, I think I will have to go back, no, to our big why, no,
Mm-hmm.
why we're really doing this work that we do. And the mission is really to just provide as many opportunities to our kababayans wherever they come from the farthest flung provinces to uh, the crazy metro cities, no, wherever they come from, where whoever they are, actually, to take part in the economic opportunities that's made available in the Web3 space and to make it sustainable. I think that piece is very important, no? How to make it sustainable so it's not dependent on just one game. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why we're excited that a lot of these games are coming out. And these games can actually be part of the portfolio of games that our community can play and take advantage of, and so that these can provide economic opportunities to them. So as I mentioned, our future is very much still hinged, no, on the mission why we even started this in the first place. It's really providing an opportunity to as many Filipinos to have economic capabilities, no, coming from the use of their time, their energy, and the resources. Actually, one of the things that we were um, what really drove us, no, especially during the pandemic, was this notion of the overseas Filipino metaverse worker, no,
Mm-hmm.
na papalit siya sa OFW. So
Mm-hmm.
people don't need to leave their families, people don't need to go to the cities, they can stay wherever, from where they can work, no, and stay where their families are. So there's that social that social problem, no, that
Mm-hmm.
comes
Yeah,
from families not being together, is
yung
also
separation.
that separation, no? So how can we create that opportunity where our families will remain intact, where our tatais and nanays don't have to go elsewhere and can really work, no?
Mm-hmm.
And take part in this space and even share it with their children, no? So kahit sila, they will have fun together because they share in the spirit of play and fun. That's really what we want to do. And when we do that, we want to make sure that the Filipinos are the talent that we have is regarded as at par, no, with the best of the world. Not because we come from the Philippines, we have to discount our talent fee, no, our
Mhm.
the service fees that we get, because we bring our best selves out into this space, then we can be compensated, no, the same with the best in the world. So that's also part of the mission.
So one last question. I'm very and I was intrigued by these Filipino metaverse workers, and of course, because if we will be deploying Filipino metaverse workers, of course, will not be just solving the social problem of separation, family separation, but also solve the problem of compensation, because these will be skilled workers and they won't be cleaning the toilets of these rich people. So, what opportunities will be there in this Filipino metaverse workers?
I think I touch on some of
Yeah,
these. No,
yes, I
they can be
there's
developers, they can be game
producers.
moderators, part of operations. We're very good in terms of customer
Mm-hmm,
support. That's why we have a very strong business process outsourcing.
mm-hmm,
So we can transpose, no, those skills in games.
mm-hmm,
Uh, you can do marketing, you can do
mm-hmm.
business development, you can do
And
advertising,
yeah.
you can really do the things that you are already doing, but in this space that's new, where the opportunities can be matched by your energy, no, and your enthusiasm to take part in this nascent and unique technology.
And I think this will answer the problem, but because there were concerns that because of the introduction of AI, metaverse, etc., and Web3, there will be jobs that will be displaced. And this is the first time that I'm hearing this from you, Filipino metaverse workers, that we can actually upskill our workers to shift or transition into this kind of new um, economy, the metaverse economy. So yeah, I'll explore that. Thank you very much for giving me
Yeah,
giving me another
yeah, and
area
that's the
to. Yeah,
reason
yeah.
why I think a big part of our efforts
Yeah.
also are in education and
Mm-hmm.
upskilling. In fact, we have a program called Metaversity,
Mm-hmm.
and the Metaversity program is really intended to provide useful skills and
Mm-hmm.
skills that have a match, no,
Mm-hmm.
with what jobs are available out
Mm-hmm.
there, so that when people come out of this program, we can also help bridge them to
Mm-hmm.
games or to Web3 brands, no, that are looking for those types of skilled individuals.
Thank you very much, Miss Mench Dizon. But I think we will have another conversation about metaversity and Filipino metaverse workers. And definitely, I will ask you again to be our guest to discuss those issues. So again, Miss Mench, thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you next week.
Thank you so much,
Mm-hmm.
Komfie. Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to
Mm-hmm.
seeing you next week at
Mm-hmm.
the Yield Guild Games Web3 Summit.
And again, thank you very much, mga ka-TV, for watching. I am Komfie Manalo, and this has been Business Sense.